Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Illuminated Page here on Rook and Rasp. Rook and Rasp, you say? I know that's different and strange, isn't it? But the rebranding has officially happened. Welcome to Rook and Rasp, and we'll be doing lots of crow things here, I guess.
Yeah,
Corvid,
no COVID things. No
no
COVID
COVID
things,
things,
please.
Corvid things here. Um, Tonight, I am joined by Shawn playing Jacob Finley.
Fine.
I just watched this and made a note and then left it at work. John is playing Jimmy Ray Sheridan.
Indeed, I am.
Roxanne is playing Hardy Little.
Hello, hello.
And, of course, David is playing Professor Dalphus Hardgrove.
Good evening, everyone.
All right. So real quick before we get into the story, let's have you guys all roll a d6 and add it to your luck, because you definitely need some luck, I'm sure.
5.
The one dice I did not get out.
All right. I'm getting a little bit of luck there.
1.
Well, you definitely should have gotten another dice
A little
out
bit
then.
of luck.
Yeah.
That is a little bit of luck.
So it has been like 6 weeks since we played. So we'll do a quick recap of kind of the whole thing, just real quick though. So a good friend of two of them, the original members of the group, who was Dolphus Hardgrove and Shawn's character, whose name I have,
Jacob
Lockhart.
Lockhart.
Aaron Lockhart.
A good friend of theirs, Mr. Jackson Elias, was murdered and murdered in such a way that it led them to believe that there was something else going on. They collected a bunch of clues and started tracking things down. They went from New York to London, where things got worse, way worse. And then from London, they went to Egypt, where things got even more worse, going so far as to watch us lose 2 members of our party to insanity. They headed from there to Australia, because what's one desert if you don't go to another one? I guess that was the plan, where they met alien beings and perhaps saved the outback from other alien beings. Jimmy met his dad, back up with his dad, and then promptly murdered him because he was a bad guy. It was a good thing. And then they headed to, and they disrupted the first of 3 points of what they believe is part of a ritual to do something. I don't think you guys know exactly what, do you?
I think, well, some of our original members would have known. Like Aaron was for sure is to keep whatever they saw in the pyramid from coming back.
Okay, that's yeah. I like that answer. And then they went from there to China to disrupt a second point. There was a rocket and a volcano and a crazy man that murdered one of the principal members of the Carlisle expedition, which has been pretty important to this story. And they fled from that island and then fled from China very quickly, as they lost 2 members there as well. One to outright damage, and the other one to some insanity as well. They fled from there to Kenya, where they are now. There was a fire on a train, perhaps by 2 magical glowing balls of fire. We don't know quite what that was, but it wasn't good. And now they're trying to track down the last spot of this triangle, which they believe is at a place called the Mountain of the Black Wind. Not that they're sure where that's at, but they have a decent idea that it's what direction it's in.
In a painting.
And they're literally they'll know it when they see it. So that has been the adventure so far. I missed a bunch of stuff. I know I left a lot of details out. Anything you guys wanted to touch on that I might have missed that was important? I missed a bunch of stuff. I know I left a lot of details out.
I think you covered, like, that's a good bird's eye summary of, what, almost 2 years of shows.
Yeah.
With some
Yeah.
hiatuses in between.
Yeah, I was trying to hit the broad strokes, and I think I hit them pretty well. As we open up on our investigators, our globe-trotting investigators, we find them in a very dry and warm place. There are the town of Nairobi is small and kind of ramshackle. There is an area of town called Whitestown that is exactly what it sounds like. It's full of white people, mostly British, but also other European people. There's also part of town called Brown Town, which holds mostly people from India, as well as people that would also fit similar skin tones. And then there is a Blackstown where people native to the area that have chosen to settle in town live, and it's very segregated in that way. As a reminder, this is set in a certain time, and there are certain things about that time that we don't necessarily support, but we want to keep it somewhat historically accurate, not super depth in on that, and we won't go too deep into it unless the story absolutely requires it. But definitely has an impact on how historically Nairobi was set up, and that is reflected here. So we open up inside in Nairobi. Our group, our four investigators, have just finished talking to a gentleman named Sam Mariga. He is the gardener at the train station, and as they found out, a very good gardener. He keeps everything pretty good looking and healthy and green. He had a bunch of information that he handed over to them about where to go and who to talk to. And now it's a question of where they go next. They have a couple of leads with Johnston Kenyatta, and then there's a couple other people they can look into, and they have uh, a guide, Colonel Endicott, who two of our members ran into at the local newspaper, the Nairobi Star. So, as we open up, it is the four of you kind of standing away around near the train station. Sam has gone back to work. He's giving you some things to think about. Where are you guys headed next? Sam has gone back to work. He's giving you some things to think about.
We got like what 6 hours to kill before we meet with Endicott.
I'd say you probably have two or three,
We got like what six
depending on
hours
how
to kill
early you
before
want
we
to show
meet
up at
with
dinner.
Endicott.
I'd say you
Now
probably
this is
have
just Jacob and Jimmy,
two or
right?
three. No, all four of you went, as I remember.
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
okay.
to.
Okay. Now this is
It
just
was
Jacob
the
and Jimmy.
professor and.
No, all four of you went, as I remember.
Yeah,
So
we talked
Hardy
to-
and Dolphus went to the Nairobi
It
Star,
was the
and they
professor
ran into
and-
Endicott. Jacob and Jimmy went to go set up trucks and provisions for the trip. And then you met back up for lunch, exchanged information, talked about Endicott, and then came down to the train station.
I think
Sorry, we
were
might have been
discussing
getting an
whether we
echo
wanted
for
to
a minute,
go
but I
on
think I
this
fixed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I think that was my bad. Nobody said anything, but I think we might have been. Just a me thing. Go ahead, David. You were saying something?
Yeah, I think we were just discussing whether we wanted to go on this little adventure with Endicott.
If he's going to lead us, to where we need to go, I'd prefer not taking any little side trips because that just seems like we're helping him. That's not going to help our cause any.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
think we were
there
trying.
wasn't there a lion hunt or there was a lion eating people or something?
So out at Endicott's hunting lodge, there have been people getting killed. The bite marks on them are too small for most things, and they don't match a pattern of a wild animal. It has been reported by the Nairobi Star as a rabid lion attack. It's happened a couple of times. The reason that Hardy and Dolphus met Endicott was because they were at the Nairobi Star when he came to protest their reporting of the attacks.
Well, I was gonna say I talked to Endicott, and I'm hoping that maybe when we meet with him tonight, we can just talk about maybe trying to get passage to the Mountain of the Black Wind. He seemed like he was fairly open to traveling. I told him about Posy's sister. It went okay. So I'm hoping he doesn't want to take us on anything, but we probably should be aware that if we have to go through his lodge, we may encounter something else there.
It was also suggested from his mannerisms and the way that Hardy read him, that he's desperate and needs the money. And there was hint that you would not only help him with his reputation, which would help him in the long run, but also maybe float some money towards him.
It's great. I don't have a whole lot of liquid cash on me at the moment.
Yeah, most of the stuff that Claudius gave me in the packet, or that the company gave me, got burned up on the train. And I mean, I could call some people, but I don't know if they would consider me worth giving money to.
Or even how long it would take to get here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a bank here that I can get anything wired into. I know Professor Hardgrove, you've got cash, but I didn't know if. Again, I don't know if there's a bank that we can get money into.
Can I have the four of you roll intelligence for me?
That's a success.
Success.
Success. Hard success.
So there is a small bank here in Nairobi. It is just the British bank. You know that in Mombasa, the port, there were several banks there. So basically, what you would do is call whoever you needed to call back in New York, or send them a telegram and ask them to wire money over to the bank in Mombasa, and then they would wire the information to the bank here. It could take anywhere between 8 or 10 hours and maybe 3 days, in that range, just depending on how quickly the person in New York, which is, I'm guessing, 6 or 7 hours or 8 hours even behind you, how quickly that person would be able to get that money wired, and then wait for the bank to be open for them to receive the wire, and then get that wire information to the bank here.
I guess before we go through that, pool our money together, find out how much we have, then at least we can expedite things. I mean, I kind of feel like time is of the essence.
So you have hired a truck or two. I'm not sure if it was one or two. I don't remember the number. We'll assume it was two.
I think it was two.
Can I get everybody to roll credit rating for me? Actually, no, I take that back. Roll luck for me.
Success.
No.
No.
Success.
Oh.
Okay.
Unless I can spend luck on a luck roll.
So Hardy and Jacob, you don't have a whole lot of cash. You could probably get by here, assuming nothing else was going on. You could get by here with food and a place to stay for probably a week. But also, that's still like maybe $100 each. Jimmy, you've had a chance to tuck away a little bit of money here and there, and you could probably get by with 2 or 3 weeks. I think your credit rating's like a pretty low, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a former cultist. It doesn't really go well for me.
Yeah, that's not something you put on the resume, right?
No.
But Dalphus, you probably have a couple of $1,000, not necessarily all in cash, maybe in some bonds that you could cash in, but you would need to be careful with how to do that to make sure you got a good exchange between American money and British money. Wouldn't be too hard to liquidate, but definitely something that you would need to be aware of.
Okay.
So you've got enough money to hire. You've already hired the trucks. So this is after hiring the trucks and provisions. You've got enough that if you handed Endicott a couple $100, he'd be happy.
Okay.
Like that's what he would expect, that pay range, depending on how long you're out in the wilderness.
That's good then. At least we have enough to probably get him hired.
And we want to get him to guide us out to the Black Mountain, right?
Yeah.
Mountain of the Black Wind. If he's even heard of that, I doubt that's on any tourist maps. But
we got a picture of it. It shows, like, do you recognize this mountain? Have you seen this mountain?
we're not showing him the painting.
You guys just say, do we still have that painting?
Okay.
I have a sketch of it.
I believe that you might have a picture of it even.
Bobby might have taken a picture of it, but I don't know. He was.
Well, I'm thinking that it was in one of the things in Jackson Elias's stuff.
I think so, with the
Yeah,
Imaro in the foreground or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we had some sort of a picture of it.
You're right. I was gonna say Bobby wouldn't have taken a picture of it. He was pretty
Not a fan of that painting.
not a fan of looking at paintings after we got on all them paintings.
Hey, he just got some scales. I almost died from that instance.
Yeah, but not from looking at a painting.
No, from getting sucker punched by a starving artist.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was possessed of supernatural things.
Oh yeah, the
According to
snake
Jules.
juice.
Yeah, Jules' journal is very explicit that she's pretty sure he was hopped up on something.
I take that back.
Nope.
You do not have a picture of it unless Bobby took a picture of the painting. However,
Okay.
it is described in a couple of things you have. If you described it to someone, that might be enough to give them an idea what you're looking for. Also, while you're in a mountainous and hilly area, there are really only two mountains that stick out, and one of them is Mount Kilimanjaro, and we've already established it's definitely not that.
Sure.
I would sketch it out in my book.
Okay.
Well, and Endicott has been here for quite some time, right? So he may even remember the Carlisle expedition and perhaps where they went.
He knows that they went north of the town, so at least in that general direction, and that's where their bodies, the bodies of the expedition, were found.
Sure. Okay. Do we still have the snake juice?
Who was holding on to that?
Jewel. It was always in Jewel's things, which I assume got passed to Claudius, and then Claudius passed them to Hardy.
Roll luck for me.
$66. No.
Yeah, but it burned in the train.
Yeah, that was not going to help us at all, unless we all.
I wasn't going to use it to help us. I didn't know if we could get somebody off our back with it.
Sell it.
Offer it as payments to somebody.
Right.
Here, do you want this mysterious substance? We have no
You can
clue
become
about?
a bona fide Yuan-Ti with this. Here.
Because Yuan-Ti go around with credentials, like a little card.
Yeah.
Look, bona fide.
Yeah, and it's I just would slap a label on it that said Yuan-Ti, TEA, and just toss it back and
now
go.
It's only truly bona fide if those cards are laminated, though.
Is Yuan-Ti, is that like a sleep aid, you think?
Yuan-Ti, yeah. Yeah, it's like celestial seasonings, constant comment,
Yeah.
all that nighttime stuff with a little diuretic in there so you can't sleep because
you got the little bear on the sleepy
Yep.
time, and you just got this massive snakes on the Yuan-Ti.
Yeah.
Sleep or else. That's the tagline.
Yep. It's
Okay.
a company name now.
So where are you guys headed from here?
We never got a hotel room, did we?
Yes, you do have a room.
We do have a room. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we might want to go spiff up for tonight. Maybe put on a face that's a little bit better off than we actually are. So maybe Endicott looks at the four of us and says, "Oh, I really think that these guys." I mean, I charmed the pants off of him, but he carries around a really big gun, and she's got a name. I just think we should be prepared to, we got to sell this as almost benefactor that we can float him some cash to get him to take us where we need to go.
So
What did he call that thing? Clementine?
Mrs. Carruthers.
Carruthers. Okay.
She's a lady, Mrs. Carruthers.
Yeah.
So do we have any interest in tracking down? I'm flipping through Aaron's notebook, and from what we've learned, Tandor Singh, apparently he had some connections to the Penhue Foundation, and he's here in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Do we have any interest in pursuing that, or do we just want to head towards? I want to say he's probably going to be, based on his name, in Browntown.
I mean, that's not a big stretch. Yeah, I mean, we can go. We just got to make sure we're at dinner in a couple hours, unless we want to wait and talk to Endicott and see if he wants to go with us.
Well, see, that's what I don't know. I mean, how many strings do we have left with the Penhue Foundation? I mean, we know they're involved. Do we think that he's got any
Oh, I'm
information that can
sure.
help us?
Oh, I'm sure he's got something, and he'll probably. I mean, here's the deal: if we go see Tandor Singh, it's going to be like I presume Claudius felt about Shanghai, and going and seeing whoever Ho
Yeah, those are.
Fong.
Oh yeah.
Fong Simple.
Fun.
Claudius in his journal and what little he wrote down, he seemed very loath to go there because he was surely going to get, that guy was surely going to probably attack and try to kill
Right.
everyone. So I have a feeling that Tandor Singh is not going to do. Doesn't sound like anybody else associated with the Pinyu Foundation has given anybody any time except for to try to kill them. So
Right, because I
I'm
mean, we know where we want to go. We have a lead on who can possibly get us there. Do we need to go knocking on doors and alerting everybody else about our presence?
from what I understand, it sounds just from the way everybody's been talking, it sounds like they already know that we're here.
And I mean, we're already under investigation by the British consulate people here. Do we really want to start a ruckus in town?
You are under investigation.
Well, the three of us are. I forgot you slipped away.
Oh yeah, you didn't get arrested by the cops when we got off the train, did you? They think we're all arsonists.
Congratulations. No, seriously. I mean, it isn't the worst thing in the world that there's somebody essentially watching us. We're less likely to get jumped without them getting taken out first.
Unless they're on the take.
Matt, game kind of metagame question. The last session, we spotted someone spying on us, but when we tried to follow them, we lost them in the crowd, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we do know that someone's spying on us.
And that was prior to your train travel.
Before the fire vampires?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was somebody that I'd seen on the platform. And in a
That's
street.
right.
I think I saw him on a busy street and then I saw him on the platform.
Okay.
I just assumed that they were part of the fire vampires, but that's me. Could have been Tandor Singh, you never know.
Could be. Depending on if word's gotten to him that, that foundation is no more.
Oh, I'm sure word's gotten around. I mean, Aubrey Pinyu had mind powers, right? Wasn't he sending dreams to everybody?
Yeah.
All y'all?
I
So,
don't know if Jacob's had those dreams yet. That would have been inherent.
well,
to him.
Jacob hasn't, and neither is Hardy, but I mean, everybody else did. So, and he was pretty livid, out of character. He was pretty livid when we all showed up in that volcano and started tearing up stuff. So, again, we can go. We just better. Roxanne thinks we should take Colonel Endicott. He's
No,
got
I
a
agree.
big ass gun.
Yeah, no, Shawn agrees. I'm just saying, do you think we need any more information? Do you think he would give us any more information?
I think it would tie up another loose end associated with the Pinhue Foundation. I don't know if we would get any more information, but we might. I mean, he may know where the Mountain of the Black Wind is. So I think we just need to decide if we want to do that in the 2 hours before dinner or if we want to have dinner first.
Or at least find out if he's still in town. That probably could take about 2 hours just to locate him and go have dinner and then decide if we want to pursue it or not.
Yeah, who might be able to tell us where he is or if he's got a business here?
Tandor Singh?
Yeah.
Somebody in Browntown, probably. You might ask around a little bit.
Are there phone books?
What now? I'm sorry?
Are there like directories or phone books?
No. Phone books require phones.
Sure, I didn't know if there was
Yeah.
still directories or something with,
Yeah, not so much. It would be more of a asking around, and asking around would actually not be too far out of the norm, really. If you were looking for someone you knew and didn't quite know where they were at, or you had
Sure.
a contact and you didn't
Sure.
know where it was. Do you guys have all four noticed that this place does not work like America? There are not necessarily street numbers. It's just like the third door down on the left. that's the address for the place you want to, that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there, even in like England and places like this in the more rural parts, there were at this time there were still like, oh, it's such and such a house.
Well, I
And
mean, when
it's
we went to Ireland, we didn't have an address for one of the places we went. It was just
yeah,
like it's the Knock on Wood house, and I was like, "Where's that
yeah,
at?" They're like, "It." The address is Knock on Wood house in Google Maps, and I was like,
yeah,
"What?"
yeah,
That's how
yeah.
That's how
So
we got there.
even in the 20s and 30s, that was still definitely something that was happening.
Yeah.
So all right, well,
I
is
mean, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, is there a alls we have is the name Tandor Singh?
Yep.
Yeah, and that that he's
Connected.
Okay.
Indian.
Okay. How far are we from Browntown where we are right now after leaving San Marino?
Everything is no more than a 20-minute walk.
Okay.
It's not a
Well,
very big town.
I think we should head towards Browntown.
Well, here's an important question. Have we had a chance to even rest since the train?
Yeah. You guys
Okay.
got a little bit of rest before you went out because it was like middle of the night. So you've had probably 6 or 7 hours of sleep.
Okay.
So you're not like
Yeah.
perfect. You're probably all still a little winded from the smoke. Just your body's getting used to the dealing with that smoke. But nobody is. I think Hardy has taken a point of damage at one point. But
Yes, I have 1 point of damage.
nobody's really all that hurt. Nobody's really all that bad off.
But if we're 2 hours out from having to be somewhere, I would Hardy's gonna kind of set his eyes toward Browntown and head that way.
Yeah, I'm following you. It was my idea.
And look for any kind of like business owner or booth that seems like maybe they would be interested or may be friendly enough to ask. And we have a guide, right?
Yes.
I have his name somewhere.
It's
Her.
her, and I wrote her name
That's
down
right, her.
at work.
Wawuda.
Wawuda. Yeah, all my notes are at work. I apologize. Like, I took the time to listen and watch to make sure I knew what I was talking about, and I don't remember that part. Wawuda, though, is good.
Yeah, that's the name I have written down. So I would ask Wawuda, if you see somebody that you're more familiar with the social structure here, is there somebody or a shop or a booth or something that a kiosk even that someone might have a little bit more information about the surrounding area and maybe be able to help us locate Mr. Singh?
She turns to Sam, who's you're still right there at the train station.
Oh, are we okay?
And speaks in Kikuyu to him, and he responds back, and she says, "He is a tea seller in Browntown. One of the better tea salesmen. Brings it directly in from India. I can. I've got directions. I can get us there. I think I've not been in Nairobi more than once. Her
Okay.
accent, her speech is very accented, but I'm not going to try that. So, but just keep in mind that her voice is very accented.
If she allows it, I would take her hands and clasp them together and say thank you very much. That is so helpful.
She looks a little taken back.
I will drop the hands and be like, I'm sorry. It's a thing. It's a thing that
this is
in
why
my
you
culture.
hired me, right?
Yes.
Well, translations, but yeah.
Like, yes. Learning. I would need your help if I were in America, I think.
We all need help in America, I promise.
And let's not forget, we scarred this poor woman with fire vampires on that train too.
We saved her from the fire vampires.
We did
okay?
save her.
So yeah, let's head on
surprised she
to
hasn't split yet.
Tandor Singh's tea house.
Okay,
So,
I'm just going to say this right now. We're going to find a tea house, sort of like going to find a spice shop. So I'm betting dollars to donuts is going to be a cultist when we get there.
Oh, I'm
Well,
sure.
yeah, I mean,
we
if
had
it
the
makes
Juju
things
house.
taste good, it's run by cultists.
Well, no, I mean, we know that Tandor Singh is connected to Penhew. I mean, it's a given that he is a cultist.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Yeah. That's right. And I want Colonel Endicott to go with us when we go to that tea shop.
Do we invite him to go have tea?
Yes, let's do that.
You
I
did
like that
invite him
plan.
to dinner, and between now and dinner, it's gonna be hard to track him down.
No, that's fine. We can still
But we
meet
know
for
where it's
dinner
at.
and then afterwards be like, hey, do you want to go get tea? We heard about this great little tea house.
Or don't make any deals with him during dinner and agree to meet him for tea tomorrow there.
I told him we wanted to leave tomorrow.
Oh, that does complicate things.
It does.
You still have the other option of Johnston Kenyatta. He is still an option to look into if you don't want to go to see Tandor.
Do we know anything? Do we have anything on him?
Yes, he is a member of the Kikuyu Central Association.
KCA, I'd throw down. So
Yeah, he's a politician. He's essentially trying to make Kenya better for the Africans,
Okay.
since it's a British colony at this point.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Does he have some sort of office?
Yes.
Fantastic.
The KCA has an office. Where's that information? It doesn't matter. It's in Blacktown, on Mariana Street, and then the office is not too far from that. So,
And we learned about Kenyatta through Merengue, who said he might have more information about what happened. Correct?
yes.
Yep.
All right, then
Okay, so-
I would assume Sam told us kind of where it was, so we'll maybe
Actually,
kind of how to get there.
Wawuda, actually, right?
Yeah.
She knows where it's at. She's familiar with who Johnston Kenyatta is. Like, she seems to know who he is. Like, but that makes sense. He's a politician. If she didn't know, he wouldn't be doing a good job.
Okay, so
Sure.
go talk to Kenyatta. Meet. Lost his name. Endicott. And then invite Endicott to go have tea after dinner.
Yeah, we can try to get him to go
I like
tomorrow
this
too.
plan.
Yeah, but I just would. I would feel more comfortable with that big ass gun that he's got if we're gonna go up against anybody that's a little fishy. I don't want to. It'd
You
be
think
good to
he'll bring
have
it to
that on
dinner,
our
though?
side. Huh?
You
Oh
think
yeah.
he'll bring it to dinner?
He said she was coming with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I get the feeling that they have a relationship.
Sounds like an improper relationship.
It happens.
I'm sure he sleeps with her.
He's alone out in the bush. Let the man have his gun.
So the 6 of you, because Posey's with you as well, right?
I believe she is. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 6 of you head through Whitetown, and into Blacktown. And it's not that you're the only white people there. It's just that there are not a lot. You are very much in the minority now. Wawuda takes you down a couple of streets and then takes you to the storefront for what looks like a general store, but also has a sign up that says Kikuyu Central Association. As you enter, you see a very large, like broad-shouldered man. He's got a close cut hair and a close cut beard, and he is in a suit and tie. He's speaking with a couple of other Africans in what you're guessing is Kikuyu, because you've heard it a few times and it sounds familiar. When you walk in, he looks up, and the two customers look up, and then they quickly hand him money, take their goods, and leave. Not out of fear, but more of a, I don't want to be here when the white folk are here, because they're whatever's going on is weird.
Sure.
And he smiles really big. He says, "Gentlemen, ma'am, ladies, how can I?"
Justin Kenyatta?
Yes, I am. And may I have your name?
My name is Jacob Finley. This is Bobby Ray, Professor Hardgrove, Jimmy Ray. This is Professor Hardgrove, and this is Hardy Little and Posey. I don't remember her last name.
Pepin, she says.
That's right. Posey Pepin. you don't mind, sir, we've got a couple of questions about something we're looking into.
Sure. How can I help you folks?
Well, we're looking into the Carlisle expedition. And Merengue over at the train station says you might have some additional information for us on this.
The Carlisle expedition. That's been several years ago. I'm not sure what I could do to help shed any light on that.
Well, I mean,
I'm
we're
circling around the room a little bit, trying to get some distance from everybody else and keeping an eye on him,
Sure,
watching for him making any kind of moves.
sure.
well,
Can you
I
give me
mean,
a spot hidden, Jimmy?
That is a hard success.
You pick out a couple of things on the shelves that are not they are not bloody tongue, but they have the markings of what you know as tribal magic, which may or may not be powerful, but it notes that he definitely has some roots with the tribes nearby. It could be magically, you know, like have magical abilities, but it's just like a couple of bottles, and they're not together. They're just in the shelves with the other bottles of this and that.
which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Okay.
Matt, we had information, or his name at least was listed in Jackson's stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it has been quite a while. I'm not sure what more light I could shed, but what
Well,
questions?
Miata, I believe you know a friend of ours, Jackson Elias.
His face goes a little tight. He looks at each of you kind of in the eyes, and he looks and then turns to look at Jimmy and sees kind of what Jimmy is seeing. Says, "Folks, I would be happy to talk to you about that, but I believe that's an appropriate conversation to perhaps have in a more private location. Would you like to join me in the back room?"
By all means.
Okay. He walks to the front door, flips the sign, and locks it. "Please, this way." And he
I,
walks to the back door, opens it, leaves it open, and walks in.
I would actually like, while he was going to the front door, I would like to find that back door and open it for him.
Oh yeah, sure. So as he comes back, so the shop is kind of like an L shaped counter. There's goods up on the walls. There's goods in the counter. There's a couple of like standing shelves out in the little area. It's not a very big shop, um, and just like where the L kind of stops over like opposite of the front door, there's a back door there. And as he turns around and comes back, yes, right in there. And as you look in the room, it's there's a cot in there, um, somewhat nice cot. Like it looks like someone uses it on a regular basis. A small table with 4 chairs, a little cook stove, nothing out of the ordinary for what you see. Just a place for someone to live. He says, come, sit. I will." And he grabs a couple of like milk crates and pulls them over to the table, and then sits down on one. He's a big guy. He's like 6'2", broad shoulders. Kind of sits down on this milk crate, which is just a little humorous because it doesn't sit quite right next to the table, but he's still kind of head and shoulders above the table. And he motions, "Please sit down, please." Um, I'd offer you tea, but I'm not much of a tea drinker, to be honest.
Oh, that's okay. I think we're having some tea later tonight.
Oh, good. So you mentioned Mr. Elias.
Yes. He
So,
sadly is not with us any longer, but we're following some investigations that led us here on his behalf.
What kind of investigations?
Well, just from what I've noticed, you and I both know that there are some otherworldly things happening here,
Go on.
and there is a multinational organization, a cult of a few different names that are responsible for his death, and it is also connected to the things that we're searching and that we're looking into.
What would those names be?
The cult of the bloody tongue, the was it the Brotherhood something? What was I have to look back in my notes. I forgot the other one.
Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh,
Black Pharaoh. Yeah, that's it.
Then there was the one in Australia, the
the Cult of the Sandbat.
Cult of the Sandbat.
He clears his throat and he says, "Yes, the old ways are cruel. My knowledge of them is imperfect. More than 20 years ago, I fled my home, where I had heard many such stories, and my grandfather was a great Miragi, a diviner. I have tried to leave that world behind and to enter yours, gentlemen. But how ironic it is that as I strain towards your heritage, you reach towards mine.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. We're not accusing you
No,
of anything.
but that doesn't change the history of the region or my people.
So do you... We're looking for the the Mountain of the Black Winds?
I have I've heard rumors and grumbles about such thing.
How far away is it from here?
I'm not sure that I know its exact location, only that it's north of here. If I had to guess, though, I could give you directions to a mountain there that the locals find uncomfortable and stay away from.
I mean, we have that kind of confirms it. I mean, we have a guide that is going to take us in that general direction. I mean,
He looks at Wawadu.
She's with us. Yeah.
He says,
Wawuda.
Wawuda, and she will be taking you.
Oh no, she's here for translation purposes.
He drops back into Kikuyu and speaks with her briefly. He says, and then he switches back to English and he says, "I do hope that before you go too close to the mountain, you let her come back. It's not safe there. I know."
Well, if the people we think are there, we probably wouldn't need a translator. They'll be able to understand us fairly well.
They'll definitely understand the language I'll speak.
Either way, we will make sure she gets back to Nairobi.
Good. I sense something about your partying. Maybe it's trances of my grandfather that cling to me. There's a man you should meet. I didn't send Elias to meet him. Elias seemed doomed to me, and I could not burden my friend with such a difficult gift. But your destinies are unfinished. Perhaps you have great victories to live for, or perhaps you will undergo tragedies, as can befall mortal men. Would you like to meet this friend of mine?
Yeah.
To the other people in the party, I'm kind of like nodding, like, yeah, I think so.
If he can help us, definitely.
Allies are always good.
Give me just a moment. I'm going to step out. I will be right back. He stands up and walks towards the door you guys came in through. It goes to the front door. You can hear it unlock and open. And then you hear it shut.
I am going to post myself so I'm staring out the door that
Every
we were,
time.
we're watching. I'm watching for when he comes back, if he comes back with anybody.
I'm going to find some place to hide in that entry room.
Okay. You can hide behind the counter relatively easily. You wouldn't be completely obscured, but you'd be pretty solidly. You'd be able to see out because they're glass. But it would be hard. You can get behind some stuff, so it'd be hard to see you right away.
That's okay, because I'm not making it. I'm making it obvious that I'm keeping watch, so hopefully their eyes will go to me first.
Give me just 1 second. There it is. Okay. He comes back in a couple minutes later with a remarkably tall black man in a white shirt and pants, but without shoes. And by remarkably tall, I'm talking like rail thin and like 6'8". And they are speaking quietly in Kikuyu to each other. Kenyatta smiles when he sees you, Jacob, and he says, "This is a good friend of mine who will lead you to a man named Old Bandari. Old Bandari will have information for you. Tell him I sent you, and assure him that you have my blessing to be there.
Well, how far away is
He's here in
this?
Blacktown.
Oh, he's here in Blacktown. Okay,
Yes.
because we do have an appointment in an hour or so.
It shouldn't be but a few minutes walk from here, but Old Bundari does not accept visitors unless they come with a good friend.
Oh,
And
I
we have his
appreciate your help.
blessing. We have Kenyatta's blessing, is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say, Dalphus, you've experienced this before. Basically, certain groups, like certain communities, get very insular, and there are certain members of the community that do not interact with the outside. And you're a bunch of white folk in Blacktown, and it's it's a colony. It's pretty the British government is pretty heavily racist at this point with how they handle it. So this isn't out of the ordinary for what you've experienced before. It is a little. You've never gotten this chance this quickly to get a foot in the door. Like you've done this a couple of times, probably in Egypt, where you've talked to somebody that knew a thing about a thing, but you had to spend a lot of time building that rapport and that trust before you got this far. This one, he just seems okay with it without much of an issue.
And his name was Bundari.
Old Bundari,
The
Bundari.
That's who he's taking us to.
Yeah, the guy that
That's not the guy.
the gentleman that came in has not been given a name. He's just a friend that will guide you.
Thank you, friend. I we've let's go. I say we go.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna turn to um, Kenyatta and say, just to rest your conscience, what we're doing is hopefully going to help.
He
Yeah.
puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "This is you have important work to do. I can see it. I can see it in the four of you. Please be careful. The
Can I
mountain that you speak of is not safe."
can I roll a psychology check on him?
Sure.
Nope.
Okay. What were you looking for?
I was just gonna see. Hardy feels like he's probably trustworthy, but it's all kind of new to him.
Kind of what you're
And
reading off of him is that he's kind of a man split between two worlds. Like anyone native to Africa would be trying to enter the white man's world, but he's trying to do what's
Sure.
best for his people. So he kind of
Sure.
has to take that route.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, no, Hardy and Posey have stood up and are kind of antsy by the door.
Are you still hiding, John?
Nah, because they probably would have seen me as they got further into the room, but I would have let them pass me walking in.
Okay.
When Kenyatta sees you, he nods and smiles at you. It's good not to trust anyone.
I've recently come into all this, but the friend of mine who gave his life to this cause, from his notes, there's not a lot to trust in this situation.
It's understandable. I can only imagine. I've only dealt with the Bloody Tongue. I can't imagine dealing with other groups that are tied to this.
How did you stay off their radar? I mean, how did you
I don't do
not get
anything.
taken down?
I don't do anything to work against them. I make people comfortable. I deal with the white man, and dealing with the white man actually probably helps them in the long term. And I think they know that.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
We
Right.
don't want to take up too much of your time, Mr. Kenyatta.
Well, thank you. He turns and shakes everybody's hand. He seems genuinely nice. Just like he's doing a little bit of politics with you, just like shaking hands and making and smiling, but he genuinely seems like he wants to help you. That is the read that the four of you are getting off of him.
Gavigan.
Awesome.
And he says, now, if my friend here, as he's leading you, tells you to do something, I would highly suggest following his guidance. He's going to know better than anyone else the best way to get to Ombandari safely.
Sounds good.
You walk out of the shop and start down one of the streets. I need everybody to give me an intelligence roll.
Success.
Hard success.
Regular success.
Fantastic. As you're walking through Blacktown, the four of you kind of realize that the guide isn't so much at walking you kind of in a winding path that you definitely double back on a couple of times. He's not just guiding you; he's watching for other people following you. What you do see is that this part of Nairobi is quite poor, but its people are quite cheerful and have not given up hope. A lot of the buildings are one-room huts with mud-lined walls, and they're roofed with bundled grasses and broad leaves. Occasionally, there's a larger home, and by larger, I mean 4 or 5 rooms. And then you can usually tell the prosperity of a place by how well the roof sheds water. So, like stuff with tiles and shingles, um, it's clear that they have more money than even like there's some that have metal sheets or the bundled grasses and leaves. You're brought to a yellow door. The gentleman guiding you knocks on the door, and then without waiting for anyone to answer, opens the door, and you find yourselves looking in a small shed beside a high-walled yellow Rolls Royce Roadster of kind of indifferent condition. He holds the door open for you and motions for you to sit in the car. This is the first. This is the first car you've seen in Blacktown. This is like maybe the 10th car you've seen at all in Nairobi.
Interesting.
He takes you all the way to the edge of Nairobi, and just outside, just past the kind of the city limits. And when your translator says something to him, he responds, and she says, "Just two minutes down the road, not far."
Thank you, Wahuda.
In a few minutes, you as you bounce down what is essentially a dirt track, you do see scattered bicycles and animal-drawn carts coming in and out of the town, and then you find yourselves in a small village. You do see a sign that's hard to read, and Wawuda leans over and says, "This is the village of Boyovu." You will meet Old Bandari. He is one of the most powerful and respected tribal leaders here in East Africa. He will have good information. Eventually, you stop in front of a circle of huts, and the guy gets out, but motions for you to stay in the car. He walks up to a kind of a hard-looking young man, standing outside one of the huts. They talk for a couple of minutes, and then he finally motions you for you to get out and come join him. And then that's when he introduced you to the young man whose name is Okuma, or I'm sorry, Okomu.
Okamu?
Yeah. Okumu.
That was our driver.
No, that's the young man, the hard-faced young man.
Oh,
Your
okay.
driver has yet to give you a name.
Nope, that's fine. I'm not gonna press for that.
And he goes and stands next to the car after introducing you. And Okumu, his English is pretty spot on. It's got a bit of a British accent, but the rest of it is like there's just a light African accent on it. Not much at all. It's really, really well. He's really well spoken. He is, on the other hand, incredibly rude. He has this air. He's irritated that you're here.
I'm used to people like that.
And he turns to you and says, "So you wish to meet Old Bandari?"
Yes.
Mr. Kenyatta gave us his blessing, and
Mr. Kenyatta's blessing may go far with Old Bandari, but doesn't go far with me. What do you want of Old Bandari?
Advice.
You can get advice from many places. I hear your Western newspapers have it. What do you want
Mm,
from Old Bandari? Be specific.
you
We
want
are looking for information about the Carlisle expedition.
more
The
importantly, how
Carlisle
to
expedition was a long time ago. Old Bandari shouldn't be troubled with such petty concerns.
We
actually
seek allies and information on how to fight the evils of this place.
most specifically, we
We
want to
seek
find
his,
out what's waiting for us at the.
any word for wisdom.
What now?
I say we'll seek his wisdom, but in wisdom I say it in Swahili.
Hold on.
I don't know Kukuri. I just know Swahili.
No, that's fine. Oh, okay. Hey, what is your Swahili?
It's not very high. I'm trying to find the number on it. I had to find another section for it. Oh, there it is. 10.
Okay. He smirks at you. And he says, "I'm sure that you could use plenty of his." And he says the word properly. It's not
Okay.
that you were wrong; it's that you weren't quite right. If you get what I mean, like you were
Sure.
pretty close, but also you're an American speaking a language that is very different. Um, what were you saying, Jacob?
Well, I mean, basically, what Dalphus was going to say about this point, Jacob's annoyed. I'm going to get up into the. I'm going to, kid's face because that's his bearing seems like young, right?
Yeah, he's maybe 20.
Right. I mean, Jacob's in his 30s, so it's a kid. And I'm going to look down at him and I'm going to try to intimidate him.
Okay, roll intimidation and then give me what you're saying.
That is a hard success.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at him and be like, look, unless you want to deal with the cult of the bloody tongue and what's ever on top of the mountain that's causing some problems, you'll let us in to see him now, because that's why Kenyatta sent us, because he knew we were dealing with it. He saw the need we have.
A string of words in Swahili comes out of his mouth. David, you pick up just enough to get the idea that he has very strong thoughts about how useless white people are. And then he says, "Fine, fine, fine.
Let's chuckle.
If old Bandari decides that he's done with you, I will remove you myself." And
You're
he turns
welcome to
around
try.
towards the door at the hut.
Oh, friend,
Um,
I can't wait.
and as he starts to move,
Nobody's gonna fight this kid. Let's just go inside and talk to the guy.
you do notice that there is a rather large machete kind of hanging off of the back of his belt, but it was in such a way that you didn't really see it when he was talking to you. He
That's
opens the door and like motions for you to wait for just a second as he sticks his head in, and then he pulls his head back out and he says, "Old Bandari will see you. Don't waste his time."
okay. Okay, it's fine. Go on, Okuyu. We'll come out in a minute. It's not who we're here to fight, guys. Let's not waste our energies on this guy. He might be a friend. He's just grumpy. Gotta remember, we've got white guys beating down on him all the time. Just get in here and get out.
He's
We
the
gotta meet in the
gatekeeper, the
cop.
man we want to see. So just
Yeah.
As you guys come into the hut, it's not very big. It's one room. The smell is thick. It's part incense and part what smells like dung used in like a fuel for a fuel fire, or as fuel for a fire. Um,
Is there enough room for all of us, or should we ask
yes, yeah,
some
it'll
people
be
to stay
tight,
outside?
and
Okay.
but your guide insists on coming in because she feels like you're going to need her.
Yes.
As the six of you kind of pile in and sit down, uh, this very ancient and thin, like bone thin man, kind of just sits quietly, unmoving, with his eyes closed against the opposite wall, the wall opposite the door. And as the group of you come in and the door shuts, and your eyes start to adjust, there is a small fire in the middle that's just a lot of glowing embers. Um, but the light from that seems to fill the room after a few moments. And finally, he kind of moves slightly, and what the voice that comes out of him sounds like kind of like two pieces of rough paper sliding across each other. And he says, "Old Bandari will hear you. What do the white people want?"
Jackson Kenyatta sent us and understood that we are here in Nairobi on a mission to end, or at least disrupt, the workings of the cult of the bloody tongue.
Mr. Kenyatta forgets his place within his own people to try to make his people like the white man. But his heart sits in the right place. How may old Bandari help you?
Can you give us any aid? Is there Do you know where the mountain of the Black Wind is?
I
Where
am
we
aware
can
of this mountain.
Can you tell us how to get there?
Okoyu will Okomu will draw you a map. I
Does
will
Okomo
instruct him
know
to do
that?
so. He will
Okay,
know.
thank you. I mean, we do not want to take up much of your time. Is there any advice that you can give us on fighting this cult?
The Carlisle expedition, you are here for them because of them.
Because of
Because
them.
of them.
The deaths that happened that were attributed to the expedition, those deaths were the result of evil magic by unnatural beasts that were summoned from the other side to kill and carry off victims. Those that were carried away were brought to the mountain of the Black Wind, a terrible place shunned by everyone. Even the greatest spells cast by those like me against that place have no effect. It is so called because a terrible god inhabits it. Once per year, he unleashes the black wind, which brings plague, famine, and disaster. To satisfy the god, the cult abducts villagers and sacrifices them. Then the god appears in all his terrible glory. He's nearly as tall as the mountain itself. He has no face, only a blood red tongue that hangs down from where the top of his head would be. Monsters of all descriptions attend him. The mere sight of this hideous god can drive men mad. The cult is led by a priestess named Imwaru.
Mhm.
She resides in the mountain. She
She was with the Carlyles.
It was she that prophesied the coming of the god's child, part human and part monster, who is soon to soak the land with blood. There is no protection I can give you from the mountain. There is none to be had. Ancient tales speak of a great sign, the eye of light and darkness, which could forever chain the cruel god within his mountain. But no one knows what the sign might be. Some magicians who are far seeing say that the sign existed until a few years ago when the god tricked men into destroying it. If
Hardy starts shuffling through his bag and looks for something in it. He pulls out a book,
a
and it's
book,
Jules' journal,
okay.
and he opens it to the sketch of the tablet that we
His
have.
eyes seem to open for the first time. He's kind of been heavy lidded while he's been talking to you. He kind of roughly grabs the book from you. He's not very strong, but he's taking it unless you stop him.
No. You can look.
He taps it. He says, "This is half. This is half of the eye. Where is the other half?"
We've never found the other half.
He shakes his head. He closes the book and hands it back to you.
Now,
Without
not
the other
again,
half.
out
What
of
now?
character. He's referring to the pyramid end cap, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you have a sketch, and actually, I believe you have that piece with you somewhere.
Yeah, I think we kept it.
Unless we said something otherwise, it's still wrapped up in cloth and put in my bag here.
Well, it is heavy as crap, though, so I'm not
Yeah, it
sure if
was
you would
like-
have carried it everywhere with you, or if it would have been in a trunk, probably back at the
I would've-
hotel. I don't know.
Didn't we send it back to
No,
Miskatonic?
we sent pictures of things.
Yeah,
No, we sent
'cause because
the
I would have
Yithian
laughed
device.
and laughed if you had done that.
Yeah, we sent the Yithian device and the Cthulhu statue. There was a Cthulhu idol.
Oh, that's right.
We sent those back to Miskatonic.
And I think a
But-
bust of the pharaoh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
of Nephrin Ka. You've never seen the other half of this, so it's not here.
It is not here. The men that destroyed it, they might know, but I believe most of them
Most
have
of them
fallen
have
to the
died.
god.
Well, and we've killed a few. They had fallen to the god, and
This is
my
good.
friend's here. Oh, chat just redeemed a luck advance. Thanks, Dad.
Nice.
Oh, well, everybody roll a d6.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you. One.
Thanks,
Another
I got
Dad.
John's luck now.
And I got a 5.
So you rolled what I rolled earlier.
Nice.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank now. I have it written out. How do we pronounce the guy's name we're talking to?
Bundari.
Oh,
Old
Bundari. Old Bundari. Old Bundari. If we put an end to Umaro and this child, would that fix things? Would that prevent the evil from coming forward?
He kind of like tilts his head and looks at you, and his eyes narrow. He gets on to his knees and then stands and walks over to you, and then grabs your head. Like this stick thin man who shouldn't be very strong grabs you with a strength that you're not sure what's going on. Can I get you to roll POW for me?
Oh no. Oh no. And thus ends Jacob finally.
No, he's a good guy. He's
Never
gonna like-
mind. I rolled a 4. That is an extreme success.
Fantastic.
Nice.
What is Jacob's vice?
I am vice instead of like
Like what's the thing that Jacob does
Yeah, do
that he
smoke
probably
or-
shouldn't do and is probably not good?
I don't think I ever did that.
you
I
giving
did
it a
phobia
drink?
Oh no, I'm not even looking for something on your sheet, just like of the character.
of the character. Probably he's a little too conceited of his looks.
He kind of like you feel kind of like something from your chest like rise up through your neck and out kind of your forehead. You are going to lose 2 magic points, but then you
Okay.
feel it rapidly come back in and you will gain 5 above your cap.
Wow. So my cap is 12. So
So
that
you'll
would
be at
17.
17.
And he
Wow.
says, he pulls back and he says, "Your looks will fade. If you can remember that things like that will fade, perhaps you can do what you say." And then he turns to Jimmy and goes to like grab him the exact same way. It's very clear what he's doing now.
He's going to regret that. So he wants to know my vice?
Well, first we're going to roll POW.
Oh, Jimmy, just let him do it.
Well, it's not like I'd do anything to him. It's more like I'd feel sorry for him finding out what's in my head. That's a hard success.
Excellent. You feel much the same thing. He grabs hold of your head. You feel like this energy of your body kind of leave, and then it comes back again. Same thing. 5 above your cap. And that will stay that way until you use any of that, which won't matter because none of you really cast spells very often except Dalphus. What is your vice?
I guess like the one thing that is the worst about him, or are you asking like the thing that he desires?
The thing that he desires.
Right now, he's kind of empty because he just succeeded in something he never thought he'd be able to do in killing his father. I mean, he's right now. It's like he's listless. He's doing this section merely almost on autopilot. It's like I'm seeing this through, but it's almost like I don't care.
He lets go and he says, the apathy comes from violence. Violence that one should never have to commit. This is important to you. And he reaches behind him where you didn't see, like, he's in clothing, but he doesn't seem to have pockets or anything. And he pulls out a small carved stone piece. And he says, this is my friend, who is not what she seems. You may call her who? And he hands it to you, and it's a small carved chameleon of stone. He says, now, you will take her with you. You will feed her well, and daily with flies. She will protect you once, but not against magic. You will need, but open her her but open her cage and free her the once, and she will help you. She will help you in a way that you know of, the way of violence. Only you can do this, Mr. Sheridan. And you don't remember giving him your last name?
I
He
look at Posey and I'm like, he's better than the fortune tellers at Coney Island.
He turns to Hardy and grabs Hardy's face.
Your turn, dude.
I let him.
Roll POW.
That is a hard success.
Okay. You feel the same thing. The energy gets sucked out of you and then comes back in you. Again, you're going to be a 5 above your magic cap. What is Hardy's vice?
I mean, he's got like the basic worldly vices of like smoke and drink. But as far as something within him that he feels he has a real hard time thinking about like his upbringing and religious upbringing and things like that, and he's got a real he probably dwells on that a little bit too much.
So shame.
Shame and some self-loathing that he deals with.
You feel the energy go back into you. He lets go of your head and he says, the things that make us cannot leave us with such feelings of shame. You are stronger than you believe, but you could be stronger. And he reaches behind him again and hands you what you recognize. You've seen it a couple of times. A fly whisk. Like, the flies get pretty bad here.
Sure.
But as you kind of take it from him, you can feel it thrumming with some sort of magical power. And he says that will protect you from the magic that might come, and it will show you hidden evils.
Oh.
He
And Hardy
reaches
has
over.
a thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I say Hardy has a thought when he looks at the fly whisk, and a scripture runs through his head about demons as flies, and probably an old sermon.
And as you kind of like those words kind of flock through your head, he has turned to look at Posey, and he turns back and he says, yes, just like that. Demons like flies. This will protect you.
Yeah, I take it. Thank you.
So I want to make sure it's clear. You didn't say a word.
Okay, that's fine.
So
yeah, no, it was just in my head.
And he seems to have read that from you. He grabs Posey does the same thing. I don't think Posey has a full sheet, does she?
She doesn't yet, no.
Okay. As he lets go of her, she starts to cough like she has bronchitis, like that wet, thick, heavy cough, and then it starts to go away. She looks a little paler. She doesn't look hurt. And he says, "You bring confidence to those around you, don't you? You temper the people that you're with. Continue to do so. And this will be an easier journey for all of them." And then he turns to Dalphus finally. And he grabs your head. You want to roll POW, Dalphus?
I have a hard success.
Fantastic. You feel the energy kind of draw out of you and then flood back in. You're going to be a 5 above. What is Dalphus's vice?
It'd have to be knowledge, like the acquisition of knowledge.
Greed. Greed is a thing that you must be concerned with. There is knowledge you shouldn't have, and you must avoid it. He grabs you by the shoulders and shakes you a little bit. Like, you're not a small guy, but he is. But he shakes you with some, like, actual force. And he says, there is knowledge you must not have. Do you understand?
I understand.
He walks back to where he was sitting, and you all four can see that his movements are slow, like someone who has just spent all day outside doing manual labor. He sits down. He says, "Okomu, give them everything they need. I am done." He lays down, and you hear his last breath as a death rattle.
Oh no.
Oh.
We're going to take a 10-minute break, and we'll be right back. We're going to stretch our legs, hit the restroom. Hey, we've got Monday. We've got part 2 of one of our Star Trek stories coming up on Monday. That's 7 p.m. Eastern. That's part 2 of
Saints Preserve Us.
Saints Preserve Us. I kept saying it's in an Irish voice. It's in an Irish voice. Saints Preserve Us is on Monday. The second part of Saints Preserve Us is on Monday during the Voyages of. Next Thursday is going to be Growing Shadows, and then we will be back in 2 weeks for this game. So everybody stretch your legs, go grab a drink of water, and we will be back in just about 10 minutes.
Bye-bye.
All right, welcome back to Illuminated Page. I'm Matt, and I'm, of course, joined by my other players. If you've just now joined us, you've missed out on some story that was really a lot of fun so far tonight. So we'll get you back in. Don't worry. Before we get started, hey, don't forget we've got not momentum spins. Wow, wrong game. We've got Cthulhu's you can spend. You can spend those on getting rerolls. Some luck advances, and to make sure that I miss people, and you can also highlight your message in chat. You can also spend some money on some of that stuff too. I'm not saying that sanity loss is going to be a thing, but increasing sanity right now might not be a bad thing. But those are all options for you to do. And then if you haven't hit the follow button, it's right there. It's just it's going to be like right here. You should click that follow button if you haven't. And then if you wanted to subscribe, if you didn't know, subscription, you get 1 free subscription as a Prime member. If you're an Amazon Prime member, doesn't cost you anything to hit subscribe. All you got to do is link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, which doesn't take a whole lot. And you can subscribe for free. And I can see that our players are enjoying highlighting things. So, hey, whatever. It's a good demonstration. Thanks, guys. So we are still in Kenya. We are in the hut of the former old Bundari, who has just passed away, giving what seems to be the last of his life force to the 5 members of the group. Um, as you as you hear old Bundari tell holler for Okomu to to give you everything you need, Okomo opens the door, looks at old Bundari, and then looks at the 6 of you, and then he just kind of nods his head and he says, "Come out with me. We'll go to the car." His attitude seems to have changed.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Finally, a little respect.
As you step outside, it's as though time out here has not moved. It is exactly the moment you stepped inside. Like the your driver has, like, you saw as you were going in, he pulled out a book to open it up, and he's still in the process of opening it, and sees you come out and like closes it and puts it away. And uh
Uh,
Komu walks over to the car and pulls out like some paper and a few other things.
what?
It's
What? Uh, Jacob, even though Jacob's familiar with some occulty things, he's never experienced it on this scale, like time stopping.
It's not a cult. It's just magic.
No, no,
I
no.
get in the car.
Occult,
Oh,
not
no,
a
no.
cult.
So Okomu is actually like laying stuff out on the hood to go over things with
Oh,
you.
okay.
He says, "Here is a map that I have had drawn from Nairobi to the mountain. This part will be roads," and he kind of walks you through the map. And he says, "If you sleep between now and then, or you sleep anywhere near the mountain, burn this incense." And he hands you some incense, and it should keep you safe from anyone entering your dreams.
Ah, handy.
And then he pulls out a small stone with some like drawing on, like a drawing on it, like carved into it. And he hands that to Dalphus, and he says, uh, "This is a blessing stone. It will hopefully disrupt things in the mountain, but only briefly. To use it, you throw it to the ground, and it should activate, but it will be a very brief moment. Do not use it before. Uh, oh, what's the name? There it is. Before he who is not what she seems has awakened. If you use it before then, it could hurt her
Okay.
And thus wake her up.
and thus kill her. But old Bondari's friend must not die, not like that." He knew that this time would come when the white man would come to fix what the white man created or helped create. And he also knew that his life would be at an end at that point. So,
I can see why you didn't want us to be here.
my great grandfather was a very important man, and I hope one day to follow in his footsteps. I am in need of a new master, though. Is there anything else you need of me?
Unless you want to go fight some cultists.
That is not my place.
No, we've taken much from you already. Thank you.
Best travels and safe, uh, most safety that you could have. I hope you find. And then he kind of walks back towards the hut. Your driver, your guide, gets back in the car and starts it up. I assume everybody piles back in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He drives you back into Nairobi and then drives you straight into what, um, and then stops kind of in a like a little market district where there's some restaurants and there's your hotel's not far. It's a few blocks away, and he nods at you. He has yet to say a word at all. He nods at you and kind of motions, and your Wawadu
Wawuda.
Wawuda, thank you, says, "I believe it's time for us to go."
Did they? I'm sorry. Did you say that he drove us back to the
Nairobi in White.
ACA?
No, you're at White. You're in Whitestown,
Oh,
so
okay.
near
Okay.
your hotel. And go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
When Hardy gets out of the car, I was gonna say I go up to the driver's window and I offer my hand, um, and I thank him for what he does. And I'm a driver back where I come from, and you've been very very helpful to us.
He grabs your hand. His hand is huge, just enormous. His fingers are uncomfortably long, like longer than they should be. Dalphus, his fingers remind you of the hands of the Mimi from Australia.
Oh,
Oh.
And he smiles, and his teeth are, it's not even like his teeth are like, oh, they're gross and black, but like they are black, like obsidian black. And he shakes your hand and nods.
Wow, you see all kinds of stuff when you hook up with y'all.
You ain't seen the half of it, kid.
And as the six of you pile out, he puts it back into drive and or puts back into first gear and scoots off. I'd say it's probably about half an hour, 45 minutes before you're supposed to be at dinner. I believe you're having dinner at your hotel, correct? Like in the hotel restaurant?
perhaps when we were at the newspaper and I was talking to Endicott, I had looked over his shoulder and you said there was a cafe there, and I was
Yes,
like,
that's right.
like, let's meet there.
Yeah.
If
So
we
that's
do
perfect.
have time, though, Hardy and Posey will go upstairs to freshen up.
Yeah, same.
That's a good time, Phil.
Okay. Jimmy, are you going to go freshen up?
Yeah.
Mostly, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first time in the entire campaign.
So,
It's time for a bath.
If I happen to see any flies around, I'll try to catch a few.
yeah, you guys catch a few. You don't know quite what to do with them because you've got a carving. Jimmy,
He
as
gives
you
them
look
to
at
him.
the carving, it is well done. Like you don't see any tool marks or anything. It just looks like a chameleon, but made out of like a gray stone.
I'm going to try to shove literally a fly in its mouth. I mean, what else
As
can I
you
do?
as you get the fly close, the fly is gone from your hand.
Well, there's an answer for everything.
Now, did Hardgrove get that or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I got that.
Jimmy.
Hardgrove was just catching flies for it.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
worry, I won't use my my
Fly
fly
whisk.
whisk.
So the six of you kind of clean up for dinner. You head to the cafe. You get there a couple of minutes early, and find Colonel Endicott arguing with the hostess or the host about how he has a very important meeting, and of course they're already here. How dare he keep him from his meeting? And he kind of, as he's arguing, he like and gesturing around very animatedly notices you.
Colonel Endicott, my
Ah,
friend.
Mr. Hardy, I was just trying to make sure that we got the appropriate treatment.
Of course.
See,
And I kind of look at the maitre d or the host, and I'm just and I'm like, I apologize. My friends and I are late. Mr. Endicott was here early. We do have an important meeting. Do you happen to have a nice secluded table that we could sit at?
Our private room.
He looks at you at the 6 of you plus Endicott, and he says, "So there will be 6 of you for dinner."
7.
7.
No, I see 6 of you. 1 young woman and 5 men. Is that correct?
Oh, is he ignoring Endicott?
No,
No,
he's ignoring our translator.
your translator.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine. You can seat
Well-
6 for dinner, but we need 7 chairs, please.
I go over to Wawadu, like, so is this is normal? They won't let you.
It's I can eat here. It will cause you more trouble than it may be worth. I apologize.
I don't
That
think
is nothing for you to apologize for.
I'm very sorry that you're treated this way. And I give her some money to pay for her own dinner, where she's able to sit that will not cause her any trouble.
Okay. So you give her a couple of dollars because that's like dinner's not that expensive in today's money, at least. And she thanks you and says, "I will meet you here in an hour, and I will wait until I see you."
Thank you.
And
Sounds
then
good.
the host grabs 6 menus and takes you towards takes you through the dining room and into a room that doesn't there's like no door that shuts, but it is definitely secluded, as secluded as you're going to get.
Windows.
There are a couple of windows, but they have been the not blinds, because that's not
Shutters.
appropriate. The
Curtains?
curtains have been drawn.
No.
There are some light curtains, but they've been drawn closed, and the room itself is actually relatively cool comparative to outside. They've got some electrical lights in there, but they're kept low, and it just seems like they've worked to keep the inside of the restaurant as cool as possible. And he motions for you all to sit, drops off the menus, and he leaves.
Grab a menu and be like, well, he's not getting a very good tip.
He's lucky if he doesn't get a punch in the nose. I understand that's how things are done here. They do them that way back home too, but it's a bunch of malarkey.
Very fully. That's why I've been spending all my time in France.
Eh. I can always have a chat with him later if you'd like.
Does
I don't mean
Endicott
I'm going
seem
to kill him.
bothered by the way that we're talking about this, considering this is
Endicott has his
probably standard.
nose deeply in the menu.
Does it seem like he's waiting to find out what we're going to order before he picks?
No. He just
He's
doesn't want to be
ignoring
part
us.
of the conversation. He is
Okay.
avoiding the conversation thoroughly.
Let's engage him in the top. No.
So, Colonel Endicott, how was your day since we last spoke?
Well, I went and made sure that I was provisioned for any traveling we might do. I got to walk around Nairobi for a little while. I didn't go back out to the lodge. It's just a little too far to make a trip out and back.
Sure.
It wasn't a bad day. I got a chance to sit and peruse a newspaper, find out the news that's coming in from around the world. It was interesting.
I haven't
How
seen a
was-
newspaper in forever. What's going on in the world?
There's a lot of talk coming out of America about just how rough the economy is, and something called Hoover Town starting to pop up. I'm not quite sure I know much about that.
Oh.
Uh, Well, let me introduce you to my friends that you didn't get to meet earlier. I don't remember if you got to meet Professor Hardgrove officially, but this is my friend, Mr. Hardgrove, and this is my friend, Mr. Finley.
Jacob,
And over here is my friend, Mr. Sheridan. And this is
pleasure.
my this is Posey. She's my girl. Who got dragged along on this hell trip from hell.
So, if we can get to business, I would be happy to, but I don't want to see business interrupted by the waiter.
Sure. Well, we can
Alice
call him
order.
over and go ahead and order if we'd like.
So you wave the waiter over. Endicott orders what is essentially the most expensive thing on the menu.
Yeah.
Um, waits for all the rest of you to order. The food is relatively well priced, like for what you would expect in America, but it is definitely more expensive than the rest of the restaurants around here. You've chosen a relatively nice place.
Yeah, and it is Whitestown, so I'm sure that they demand a little bit of a higher price.
Yeah.
It better be freaking good.
Um, as the waiter leaves with your orders and your menus, and the colonel says, "Okay, so we are headed to where exactly?"
All right,
Well,
Guess we
Colonel.
show him the map.
Yeah, like, let me get straight to the point here, Colonel. First of all, as part of our good faith and arrangement for this, I have spoken with Mrs. Smythe Forbes, and she has agreed that she will no longer post any damning articles about your establishment.
Oh, good, okay.
Second, we seek to go here, and I put the map out for him.
Oh, are we sure that that's where we want to go?
Yes, we are
Sadly,
sure.
yes.
The locals don't even go there.
Yes, which is why we're seeking you as a guide.
Okay.
We know someone of your braveness and survivalness. She'll be able to handle it.
Your survivalocity.
Your survivability.
You are a
Your
survivor.
extendability. Oh,
Do you have a red shirt?
and brown pants.
um.
Uh-oh. No, there.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
what exactly are we doing at the mountain?
We just need you to get us there.
And
No. Wait.
I assume this is going to be a guide us there, half up front, half later. So I'm going to have to get you home from the mountain too. So I
Mhm.
kind of need to know what's going to happen on the mountain.
Right. So there's some bad folk out there that we need to take care of. To be quite honest,
Okay.
but we will pay you well. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if these guys are going to say anything, but Mrs. Carruthers is I look forward to her being on this trip with us.
Okay.
I hear she has a lovely singing voice, and I look forward to hearing it.
She can really belt it out. I will tell you.
So, what do you charge for the average adventure at your establishment?
Well, I mean, if it was the average adventure, assuming food and lodging for a couple of days, it could be as much as $50 per person.
And what if said adventurers wanted to go out and hunt a lion?
A lion. Well, I mean, no, that's kind of covered under the $50. We do hunt. We hunt some of the most dangerous game out there, and lions are one of them.
Well, we're covering our food and lodging since we're going to be roughing it, so
Yes, but we're not hunting lions so much as we're hunting. I don't know what, but it is much more dangerous than a lion if the locals won't go there.
agreed. That's why I
Okay.
was.
In
I'm gonna be
Egyptian, I say, hey, look, can we just be honest with the guy? I mean, we're asking him to risk his life in something that
yeah.
you walk away from.
I don't understand a word of Egyptian, but Hardy was already kind of like he's not good at being duplicitous, and Hardy's just like, I'm gonna be real honest with you here, Colonel. When I met you today, I saw in you someone that could really help us out. We're not uh, we're not bad to have in a fight, but we are not familiar with this land, and we've got a fight coming, and it's unbelievable, and it sounds fantastic, and it's you're not gonna want to believe us, but the money's there, the article in the Times is there. You just have to get us there, help us out, and get us back safe.
So I would say 125 up front, 125 if I assume that the young lady's going with us. Emotions at
Yes.
Posey. 125 if all 5 of you come back.
Yes. We're not bringing the translator with us.
I would hope not. Although she might be useful on the way there, but there will come a point where she should head home.
Yeah, we are concerned primarily for her safety. Where we're going is we expect to find. I didn't hear what you said, Shawn.
No, I was just like, he was like, we're concerned for her safety. I'm like, no, I'm concerned for my safety too.
Yeah. Well, but no, we where we're going, there's going to be other white people that have done some really terrible things, and it has fallen to us to tie up some loose ends left over from the expedition, which we mentioned to you earlier.
It did bad stuff.
And we
I think your
will.
offer is fair, and I will counter that offer with, if you bring everything to bear that you can, I will give you $200 up front and $50 for each of us you safely bring back.
Can I get psychology from all 4 of you?
Sure.
I did not
No.
make it.
I did
Oh my god, I made it!
on
I got an extreme
regular
success.
success, just regular.
Oh, well, so Jacob, he very briefly, his eyebrows flash up just a little bit. He is very surprised by the offer, but quickly calms his face before I think anybody else recognizes it with that extreme success. And he says, if that is the offer, I accept. I expect that anyone we find in the mountain, Mrs. Carruthers can speak to.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, anybody in the mountains that could be considered hostile.
Good. And when do we leave for this expedition?
Well, before we do that, would you mind going with
tea?
us for tea after dinner? Do you drink tea?
Yes, I've been known to drink tea.
Are you familiar with the teas of Mr. Tandor Singh down in Brownstown?
He sells some fine Indian teas.
Well, we would like to go visit his tea shop and perhaps talk to him. And I will be quite honest with you, we're prepared for a possible fight.
Yeah, he's involved.
But we will do whatever we can to keep you out of any kind of fallout from what may occur there.
Well, then might I suggest that should you need her, you only have to ask Mrs. Carruthers to join the conversation.
Ooh, I
Awesome.
like that code word.
No, that sounds perfect. Let's eat and drink here, and then I think our goal would be possibly to leave tomorrow if we can.
That sounds like a plan. Dinner comes. The 6 of you eat. The time you spend with Colonel Endicott show you a couple of things. One, he understands battle. He didn't become a colonel on accident. But there is some heavy jading in how he acts. He's dealt with a lot, and it has left him very rough. And he enjoys alcohol a little too much, so much that there comes a point that Posey just reaches over and takes his glass from him, his glass of wine, and sets it like far enough back. And when he starts to reach for it again, she just tisks at him and he stops. And he's not quite drunk, but he's definitely drank more than any of you. He is definitely a drunk and has a high tolerance. But he's
Sure.
not quite drunk. He's just tipsy enough that he's starting to say things that are slightly on the edge of inappropriate.
Well,
Trying to
dinner
get
has
that
been
tea.
lovely. How are we for about that tea?
Tea would be a phenomenal end to the evening.
All right.
He's also started
Dolph-
using words like phenomenal, which were not in his vocabulary earlier.
Sure.
Phenomenon.
Dalphus, can you square up this check, please?
Got it.
You guys just all dine and dash out the door. As you
I
come
mean,
out,
after the way that jackwagon treated Waluda at the door, you know, he's lucky he's not getting paid with my fists.
yeah.
Or his establishment burned to the ground.
Hell, we're
Let's
not
be
doing
honest,
that.
we've been known to do that.
They already think we're an arson. We already think we're arsonists. Come on,
Yeah.
stop it.
Oh, is that a
it's-
fire vampire?
Oh, can I actually, can I look around? Do I see any of those cops?
So they aren't cops; they're soldiers. But yeah, there are soldiers
s-
kind of in and out all over the place. Just
Do I see any of the ones that gave us hassle earlier?
no, not any of those specifically. So as you guys exit, Endicott starts he's not leading the group, but he knows where you're going, so he heads that direction. I assume the 5 of you follow without much of an issue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe a 10-minute walk, and you find yourselves in Browntown. He walks down a couple of streets and comes to a place on Biashara Street. It's a small clapboard frame building topped with 10 cupola. The sign on the door, or the sign on the building says Sing's Teas, and as you enter, I need Hardy. I need you to make a sanity check.
That is a 14 under 87.
You are startled, but you react quickly as you see behind the counter a man with a kind of a thick beard that's been curled up, wearing a traditional Indian head wrap. It's the same man that you saw following you in Mombasa.
Oh, it's going down.
And as he looks at you, his eyebrows go up, with what looks like might be surprise, and then he says, welcome to my shop. How may I help you with your tea selection this evening?
How was Mombasa, my friend?
We're right into it.
Oh, when I did come from Mombasa just yesterday picking up a delivery. Well, did you see me there?
I almost never forget a face. I too make deliveries. I see a lot of people. I learn to pick faces out of crowds. I think I must have just caught your eye in passing yesterday on the train platform.
Interesting. Well, it's nice to meet travelers. Is there any particular teas you're looking for?
Matt, is there a leather strap around his neck?
I don't know. Give me a spot hidden. Oh, you know what? There's an answer there. No, he is wearing a buttoned-up shirt with a tie, very tight. He is in proper business suit. You couldn't see a leather strap. It was there or not. However, I will let you give
clean
me
shaven or beard.
What now?
Clean shaven or full beard?
He's got a beard
No,
that kind of
And
curls
it's curled.
up.
Okay.
It's been purposefully curled. I will take a spot hidden though from all of you because maybe you'll see an outline or something. Maybe. Who knows?
I got on a spot hidden. I got 15, which is a hard success.
Cool.
I got an 18, which is a regular success.
6 out of 60.
Okay.
I got a hard success as well.
Jimmy, you do note that you see 2 lines of what could be a strap just under the shirt, and as he moves, it's definitely not the shirt just kind of peeking up. There's something underneath it, but you can't be sure exactly what it is.
So what would
I
you
love
suggest?
a good pico myself.
Oh,
He's
yes,
got, he's got one.
I've got great do you say that out loud?
Oh yeah.
Okay. He says,
I don't know what he's talking about.
I do have
You-
a good pico. No,
Yeah.
it's so I've got these leaves that
Absolutely
I brought
wonderful
in.
Pico.
He brings out like a jar of tea leaves. He says, I can grind this up for you. These are nicely dried already. It's just a matter of grinding them up for you, and I can bag those up for you. How much would you like?
Like an ounce, 4 ounces.
Okay. He pulls out a mortar and pestle and he puts it down and he like pulls out some leaves. He grinds a few and then he puts a couple more leaves in there. He grinds and then he like sets it.
Is Wawuda with us again?
Yes.
Okay.
He sets the what he's ground up on the thing. It's just under, so he grinds another leaf and he puts that up there and he puts it at 4 ounces and then he puts it in like a wax paper kind of bag thing, a small one, and tightens it down. And he says, "Was there anything else that I could get for you?"
Is there anyone else in the shop?
It is the 6 of you and him.
A back door from where he's standing. So like, I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's a counter between him.
Yeah, so you got a small counter there. There's not necessarily a back door, but a hallway, and there are stairs that go up.
Do we hear any movement elsewhere in the building?
Everybody can give me a listen check. That's going to be at a penalty, though.
Whoa.
16 out of 20, so it is a success.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get it with the penalty.
Hold on. I gotta find my listen. I rolled a 20. So that is a hard success.
Okay. If you got a success, you don't hear anything in here, but you do hear things from neighboring buildings. There are people around.
Going to
Is
there,
Jim is
I was gonna say, can I get to the entryway up to the stairs without looking too suspicious?
You'd have to go past the counter to do it.
So like around the counter and behind it and stand back
Yeah.
there? Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. How did you breathe this?
While he's helping,
I want to get Wawuda out of there first. I mean,
Yeah, I was thinking we need to ask her to step outside.
I'm
Mr.
gonna
Wawuda,
send Posey here. I'm gonna send Posey out. I'm gonna look at Posey and I'm gonna say,
could they go ahead and get us a cab or something?
yeah, can you step outside for a minute, just to be safe.
Posey gets what you're saying, and she moves Wawuda to the door. It opens and shuts, and Tandor says, "Was there anything else that I could get for you?"
yeah,
We'd
perhaps
like to
you have
talk.
any special items for sale.
Well, I've got teas. I can get some coffee if that's really more your speed.
Motion to Jimmy to maneuver around as I fish into my pocket and I pull out one of the Cult of the Bloody Tongue medallion things
Sure.
and I hold it up and I said, "No, I mean special items."
Who'd you get that from?
Oh, I assume a mutual friend.
Did that friend have a name?
I believe it was Mr. Gavigan.
Mr. Gavigan's dead.
Perceptive.
I just look at him.
Jimmy, can you give me a stealth roll?
Absolutely. It's
I
a
don't.
hard success with a 34 out of 70.
I don't know if that was Gavigan's or Tufik Al Said's, but it's one of them, I think.
Sure.
Either way, they're both dead.
Okay, so where's the number I'm looking for? There it is. He quickly flashes his hand at you, David, and I need you to roll POW. It is contested, so you won't be able to spend any luck.
Okay. Ooh, 16. What is that? That is a extreme success.
Yeah, I also got an extreme success.
Oh.
So we'll compare magic points. He has 19 right now.
21.
Okay. You feel. Have you ever gotten an eyelash stuck in your eye?
Yeah.
You feel about 1,000 eyelashes stuck in your eye for just a second. It is very uncomfortable. You're going to lose a D3 of sanity. The anyone that looks at, like, as he flashes his hand, you hear the professor kind of like his breath catch in his throat just a little bit, and if you look over, it looks like his eyes are just completely bloodshot. Like all of the red is, or all the white is almost purely red now, and it's just for a second, and then it goes away, and then Tandor looks very frustrated, and then bolts towards the back.
I would like to hurt him.
Let's
kill him.
go. We're gonna go into rounds real quick. Okay.
I would like to.
You go
hurt him.
first. Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, I yank out my machete, and it's yeah.
Are you gonna strike to kill, or are you gonna strike to disable?
Sorry, guys.
No, go for it. Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it. Do it.
Strike to kill.
Roll your brawl. I think it goes off brawl, doesn't it? Or does it go off melee? Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Sprawl.
So that's a hard success at a 36 out of 90.
Hold on. I'm looking for his dodge. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, he does not dodge. Roll your damage.
Sorry, I had to pull my dice out.
You're all right.
That is 9 points of damage.
He bolts. As he kind of turns, you swing at him, catch him kind of in the side, and he crumples to the ground against the wall immediately. He is not dead, but you've got him pretty good. And it's his turn. He kind of like scoots away, and he says, I don't know what you want, but you'll never get anything from me. And he starts to drag himself towards the back. I'm sorry. Hold on. I've got to go look up Endicott's stats. Excellent. Endicott walks up, pulls Mrs. Carruthers off of his shoulder, and just hits him with the butt of it right in the head, knocks him right out.
Okay.
And then turns around. He says, I assumed that we didn't want Mrs. Carruthers singing, right?
No.
You are absolutely correct. Thank you, Colonel. Perhaps we can take him down the hallway to his office?
Yeah, he swings him around, the gun back up on his shoulder, grabs Tandor by like the back of the jacket, and just drags him, leaving a streak of blood down the hallway. To get back into the back room.
Can I do a first aid check on Sing?
Sure.
Once we get to the back
as
room?
you go down the hallway, there's a open doorway to the right, which is clearly a bedroom. And then you get into the back room, and it's a storeroom with a lot of stuff in it, but there are stairs that go down, and there's a doorway that goes out into what has to be the alley. Can I get you to roll first aid?
Well, I was going to say, can I assist?
I got a hard... okay.
Okay.
Well, if you want to assist, I was going to say I got a hard success.
I was going to...
Assisting's going to give you a bonus die, Roxy, so you can still roll that
Yeah.
D100. So roll it again. You might get an extreme.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, cool.
You take off his jacket, bind up his wound. Can you roll a D3 for me?
Yeah. 2.
Okay. You bind up his wound. He is no longer bleeding thoroughly, but he is hurt pretty bad. Like he's got pretty bad bruise already forming on his head, and then he's got a pretty big slash in the side of him.
I think we should deposit him on his bed.
Well, before we do that, before he comes to, I'm gonna take a small knife out, cut a strip of cloth off of his jacket, and bind it around his eyes so he can't see.
All right.
Because I'm
I think we
familiar
need
with.
to tie his hands or what did the magic. I think we need to.
But if he can't see, he can't aim.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, why not both?
Well, let's get him in the. I wanted him blind before. We can tie him to the bed. I don't care.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
so you
fine.
guys get him secured in the bedroom on the bed. He starts to come to a little bit towards the end of it, but he is in no shape to really fight back against
fine.
whatever's going on.
I'll watch him if you guys want to look around for stuff. It didn't have to be this way. You could have just told us something. But here we are. I just stand there in the doorway and talk to him.
You
Colonel?
hustle me here.
Making sure we aren't interrupted while we search this place.
Well, everybody else is searching. I want to talk to him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna do intimidate, which I think I can do since he's fairly.
Can I go
wounded.
brew tea? The packet of tea leaves that he gave me. Can I go make a pot of tea?
Are you gonna trust it?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not gonna drink it. I'm gonna give it to him.
Oh, good idea. So I'm gonna sit down, or, sit on the edge of the bed. It's
I'm
like,
not stupid.
I'm gonna sit down on the edge of the bed. Like, well, this didn't go well before you did it.
He just sits there in silence, or lays there in silence.
If you want to survive this, you need to start talking now, because I think things will go way worse for you.
He clears his throat for a second, and then spits in your face.
Well, it's towards my face. He's blindfolded.
Oh yeah, spits in your general direction. You know what? I'll roll. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh no. He definitely misses.
I'm going to, because I know some interrogation, I'm going to just start applying pressure to that wound.
Can you roll intimidation or persuade, whichever one you have that's better?
Intimidation, and that is a 2 out of 70.
What? I'm sorry, a 2 out of 70?
Yep, I have 70 in intimidate, and I rolled a 2.
You put your hand on the binding of the wound and just dig your fingers in while you put your hand over his mouth because you don't want him screaming, I assume.
Well,
And
not
you
out
just-
loud, but yeah.
And you just lean in real close and start talking about how this will go faster and a lot less painful if he'll just talk. And you finally let go. Before he tells you anything, we're going to switch over to the people searching the place. So where are we searching? There's a stairway up, a stairway down, and then the storeroom.
Stairway down.
Okay. So as you come down the stairs, you find yourself in a small cellar. It's about 15 foot square with 11-foot high ceiling. There's a center support pillar, and the walls are shored up with boards and timbers. There are coves in the walls to your left and right. They're not very big, probably the size of what would be candles. The smell is very death-like. Can I get a spot hidden from you?
Hard success.
You notice on the floor there are some overlapping but regular depressions, about 3 feet wide and 6 feet long. On the east wall, which is the wall you face as you descend the stairs, there is a 4-foot tall statue of crudely carved black stone, a deformed dwarf-like figure with 4 eyes. It has 4 arms, each bear a tulwar, which I'm not positive what that is. I'm going to go look it up.
Nothing good is what it is.
It is a curved sword, much like a saber. 3 large tentacle-like appendages take place of the feet.
Hmm.
Can I get you to give me a Cthulhu roll?
Sure. I don't think so. No.
Okay, you're not familiar with what it is. You do notice the central pillar has a set of handcuffs attached to it, and then in one of the corners, like to your left as you come down the stairs, is a large stone cabinet with a padlock on it. Oh, I need you to roll sanity. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so you lose 1 sanity as you look at that statue. It
All
is unsettling to say the least. And that's kind of the room. It's like there's the cabinet which is locked up. But what would you like to search through that or try and pop the cabinet lock open?
Sure, yeah.
What's your strength?
55.
Okay, you're gonna have to apply some real solid like oomph to this, and even with somebody else helping, it's gonna be rough to get that padlock open. But there's probably a key on his body or elsewhere.
Okay. Can take a
Um,
minute to go see if we have a key, I guess. Make
okay.
things might be faster.
What Hardy and Jimmy? What are you two doing?
I actually want to step back to the front, clean up any blood that might be there,
Sure.
and then tell the ladies at the cab they called, go ahead and take it, and
Okay.
make sure take a look around, see if we got any reinforcements coming.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden.
That's going to be a hard success on the spot hidden.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary. You feel pretty confident that no one has noticed anything. While you're doing that, Endicott is not helping you, Hardy, necessarily, but like getting out a couple of cups and with saucers underneath them and like setting them up appropriately for the tea. And then
Now
he sits
don't
them
drink
down
this, Colonel.
on the little table, and then sits down and crosses his leg like a proper English gentleman waiting for his tea.
I'm not sure I trust this tea yet, but I'm sure we can make some of just normal stuff in the shop.
Oh,
That is probably
he looks up at you and says, "Oh, I apologize, Mr. Little. Is it Little, right? Hardy
yes,
Little?
little, yeah.
He says, "I apologize, Mr. Little. The art of confusion is to give the enemy what they expect to see."
Sure, sure. I got you. Picking it up. Righto. Um, I've also been kind of flipping through Jules' journal and kind of refreshing myself on Cult of the Bloody Tongue. And I see something in the journal and oh, oh shit. And I'm like, we need to get back up there pretty quick. Are you ready?
Back up where?
Or back to the room.
Oh, okay.
And I go in there and I'm like I lean. we have some tea, and I bring it in and I lean over to Jacob and I'm like, the last guy bit his tongue off.
Jacob has just kind of sat up as you came in and removes his hand from the mouth of Tandor. And Tandor says, "Fine. What do you want to know?"
What do you have to? What is? Trying to.
That's a solid
Talking's hard.
question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Talking's hard.
It is.
I don't think us got that language.
It's from the island of Gibber.
And we've already sent Wawuda home.
we know there's something going on here. When is the baby going to be born?
He smiles and he says, I don't know, but what I do know comes from the book.
What book?
He coughs a little bit, and when he speaks again, his voice is clear and empty of any pain, and his English is no longer accented. And then shall the gate be opened as the sun is blotted out. Thus the small crawler will awaken those who dwell beyond and bring them. The sea shall swallow them and spit them up, and the leopard shall eat of the flesh in Rudparang in the spring. And as he finishes the word spring, he begins to cough again, and blood is coming out of his mouth.
I pistol whip him.
He's out. David,
Okay.
can I get Dalphus to give me a listen check?
Oh, that's awesome.
I heal him. Pow! No more.
Well, I did. Sorry, David. What?
No, but I got it that time. Just a regular success. Is that good?
You hear the word small crawler, and you realize that that's the thing in the basement. Lose another sanity.
Oh, shit. All right.
Hey Matt, can we go over the small crawler thing again, please?
And then the gate shall be open as the sun is blotted out, which aligns
Eclipse.
with what you remember from the pyramid, or with the notes you have from the pyramid, with what Dalphus remembers from the pyramid.
Right.
Thus the small crawler will awaken those who dwell beyond and bring them. The sea shall swallow them and spit them up, and the leopard shall eat of the flesh of the Rudparang in the spring. And spring sounds more like the season and less like a place.
Right. Okay, cool.
And it was Rudparang.
That is what I'm going to call it, because I'm not going to stumble through trying to pronounce that.
That's fine.
Yeah. Can I get everybody to give me an intelligence roll?
I'm not there.
Oh my god, these dice are loving me
It's
tonight.
a hard success.
Extreme success.
David, what kind of success did you get?
Hard success.
Okay. So the three of you recognize that the small crawler is potentially an aspect of Nyarlathotep. That David, that's a pretty solid feeling from you. Those who dwell beyond could be a lot of things, but the parts about the sea swallowing them and spitting them up, and the leopard, that doesn't really attach to anything that you're familiar with right now. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning that could have been lost.
Hardy has scripture in his head that lines up with that. He doesn't assume that it has anything to do with it, but his
Sure.
brain has got the Book of Revelation and the diverse beast with the spots of a leopard.
Sure.
So this statue down here, you said there were handcuffs on it?
No, there's handcuffs on the pillar.
The pillar. So would it be safe to say that he was doing sacrifices to it?
Can you roll intelligence for me?
The other place that, out of character, but to refresh your memory, David, the other place that we saw shackles on a pillar was on the stele outside the miser house, where we do believe they were doing sacrificial
Which
things.
is why I'm thinking the same thing is happening here.
Would you yeah.
Yep, that is a hard success.
Those indentations in the floor were about the size of bodies.
Yeah.
Like you can feel pretty confident that he's probably killing people down there and leaving and burying them.
So the statue, what is it made out of?
Crudely carved black stone.
So would it be possible to like break off like an arm or a tentacle or something like that from it?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I want to do, and I want to use that to just beat the crap out of the lock.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
I want to destroy the statue and bludgeon the lock.
Yeah, sure. It takes you a couple of minutes of beating the crap out of that lock, but it pops open. Inside, you find several things. There's a meat cleaver on the one on. I'm sorry. This tool has a handle of twisted wood. On the one-edged blade is etched a symbol for the small crawler. Can you roll anthropology?
Sure.
Look at that. Something you've got that we don't use very often.
No, right? Ooh, that would be a hard success. No, I'm sorry, an extreme success.
The workmanship is from northern India. So it fits with what you would expect from a cleaver from northern India.
Okay.
You also find a packet of 10 incense cones. Yeah, we'll skip over what those do because you don't know.
They'll go in the back for now. We'll suss that out later.
Can you give me a spot hidden?
Yep. Success. If I spend 3 luck, it would be a hard success if I need to.
No, don't worry about that. What you notice as you look around the room is in the candle niches, you can find fragments of unburned cones.
Of the same incense.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a book written in Hindi,
Oh.
or I'm sorry, in a Hindi dialect.
Taking the book.
Do you have any Hindi at all? I
No.
don't think you do. Can you roll an intelligence check?
Sure. I rolled an 8.
You recognize enough of the words that you're concerned about. Like, this is probably not a good book. Like, it's not a safe book. And you also find a yellow robe embroidered with the same symbol that appears on the cleaver. Obviously, it's a ceremonial robe. Nothing in the cell or in the cellar has anything noted with the bloody tongue symbols or anything. I assume that at this point you guys are going to search him.
Is he dead now, or is he just unconscious?
No, he's just knocked back unconscious.
Yeah, I'll start rifling through his.
Hardy wanted to knock him out before he finished his little prophecy because he was afraid he was going to bite his tongue off.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The leather thong that was seen, or was you could see the outline of, actually just has a key at the bottom of it that looks like it would fit a padlock.
As we always do, find the thing too late.
That's pretty much it. He's got some money on him. He's got both, or no, he's just got British pounds.
I assume Endicott takes the money.
Nope, he's getting paid really well just to sit there and pretend to drink tea.
Okay.
Like he has been sitting in the front room, just you can hear him faking slurping.
Is there another room to check?
I mean, like, we hear him slurping. I'm gonna be like, you warned him not to drink the tea, right?
I did. He's not drinking.
There are stairs up, but it just leads to the roof, and that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of tap Mr. Singh on the cheeks. Hey, buddy.
Can you give me a first aid roll?
Yeah. That's missed it by 10.
You slapped him a little too hard trying to wake him up.
Well, no. He is. You would have to guess that he's been probably concussed from that rifle butt, and then concussed again from someone pistol whipping him. He's not coming to, and it's possible that he could have a brain injury and may never come to.
Oh, couldn't happen to a nicer fellow.
I'm gonna take one of the cups of tea, and I'm gonna pour a little bit into his face.
Are you pouring super hot tea in his face, or are you letting it cool first?
No. It's been sitting there for a little bit in a cup, so I kind of and I blow over the surface of it, and I give him just a little bit of hot tea in his mouth.
He coughs and spits and stirs a little bit, but doesn't open his eyes and doesn't seem to wake.
Okay. Well, Mr. Singh, I'm sure you've been. Has Dalphus come upstairs yet?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to fill us
Did
in
you
on
want-
what you found down there?
I'll tell you everything.
So the three of you are in the bedroom. Jimmy, where are you at?
I had gone outside after I cleaned up the blood, told the ladies to take the cab home. After I made sure that everything else is secure, that nobody seems to have caught on to what we're doing, I'll step back inside, lock the door, uh, probably rifle things around a little bit, make it look like there was a break in, and then come back and check on everybody.
As you start to rifle things around, uh, Endicott puts the teacup down and then reaches over and just like shoves the other one and the saucer off so it hits the ground and breaks, and stands up and like walks into the back. Like he did his part helping.
Um, did we search the bedroom?
Yeah,
No.
there's nothing really there. It's
Okay,
it's
okay.
literally a bed and a little side table and that's it.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that. Does he look like he doesn't like die from the tea?
No, he doesn't die.
Oh, cool. Guinea pig.
So,
So Jacob's thought, and I'm going to kind of give this is like, look, why don't we just? I'm assuming, Professor, you left everything opened and all tools of sacrifice and everything just plain for anybody to see if they go down the stairs. Why don't we just toss him down the stairs and leave and let the wonder what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I kind of thought we would put his little robe on him and then put him in those shackles down there and leave him.
It's
and
a
you
little
said
more
that there
effort.
was some of this incense stuff burning in the candle niches.
Well, had been burned.
Well, maybe we should do that again. Maybe that summons whatever he summons.
I don't know we want to deal with that.
Without knowing exactly what this incense does, we don't want to be anywhere near it when it's burning.
Why don't we run a little bit one of those incense cones under his nose?
I mean, like, light it.
No, just let's see if he can. Let's see if it brings him out of his stupor. In case
Oh,
he's
okay.
faking. Let's see if maybe he smells that we have the incense and.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
You wave the incense cone under his nose and he doesn't stir.
I'm saying we just chunk his body down the stairs. I don't know if it's worth the effort to take him, dress an unconscious body in a robe, hitch it up on the.
Well, just so everybody's aware, I cleaned up all the blood, knocked over a few things so it can look like a break-in, sent the ladies home in the taxi that came.
Yeah, my only issue with the break-in is we're the only people in here, and we're gonna leave through the front door. But
There is a side door that goes into the alley.
oh, okay, I do think we should take the robe. It may come in handy later.
Okay.
Like, take it to as a disguise, possibly
Like-
later.
Possibly, I don't know.
I assumed you took the book. Did you take the incense cones and the cleaver too?
I definitely took the book and the incense, and I was thinking about the cleaver, maybe doing something with it or just taking it. Wasn't sure yet.
Okay.
But have it, yeah.
Okay.
And also, we want to take his little symbol.
No, it was a key. There was
It
no
was just a
symbol.
key. Yeah, there wasn't a. Yeah.
Yeah, the cleaver had the symbol of the small crawler on it, and so did the robe. Which it does feel like this is just another cult,
Yeah.
and it would lead us on another track. But I think we should go ahead and take the yellow robe just in case. I don't know if I feel comfortable carrying a sacrificial cleaver as a weapon, but
No.
if somebody else does.
No, I say we leave the cleaver here. That way, when the authorities discover the body, strange things happening and maybe not to it.
Yeah, let's chuck them downstairs and let's go.
All right, I got one side. Who's got the other?
I'm young.
Make sure
I'll
it
do it.
hits a few of the stairs on the way down.
Oh, I'm just gonna stand at the top and chunk him down.
Okay. Can you roll luck for me?
That is 45. Oh, my luck is like 82. That's
Yeah, he bounces off a couple of stairs. He's still tied up, correct?
oh yeah,
Okay.
blindfolded, wet face
Yeah,
from the
he
tea.
gets to the ground and seems to be down there pretty solidly. Are you guys headed out the side door?
Can I, real quick, we go? Can I search behind the front counter and make sure that there's nothing there?
Yeah, give me a spot hidden.
I got a 99. I saw nothing. I got tea in my eyeballs, and I can't get it out.
Jimmy, do you wanna go out the side door and see if there's anybody looking? I'm figuring
Yeah,
you're
I
pretty
don't mind.
stealthy.
Roll stealth for me.
That's a 27 out of a 70. So that's a hard success.
Okay. You pop your head out, look around. You don't see anybody looking. The 5 of you head out and head back to the hotel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my.
We'll
I
meet
don't
you
think
in the morning, Mr. Endicott. We really appreciate. Do you have lodging here in town for the night?
I can get some with the $200 that Mr. Hardgrove gave me.
Okay. Well, stay safe. Keep your wits about you, which I'm sure I don't need to tell you, and keep Mrs. Carruthers close. And we will meet you first thing in the morning, say 7 o'clock.
I will be there. All right. You guys head back to the hotel. What are you doing? Are you doing anything special during this evening, or
just Jacob's gonna go over his rifle.
Shawn? You're
Oh,
cutting out.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Jacob is just gonna go over his. Gonna spend some time going over his rifle and go.
And you're cutting out again.
It's okay. You said going over his rifle?
Yeah, cleaning my guns.
Okay. I meant to ask while I was in there, did my fly whisk like glow or anything?
Nope.
Like didn't like buzz, give me like the little things that you get at the restaurant that you wait for your seat and they beep it like or
It's not
like
an evil. It's not an evil on time buzzy thing. No, nothing.
or
nothing
is it like Sting or Glamdring from like Lord of the Rings? Does it glow when there are orcs nearby or something?
Yeah,
Or
no, it did
Okay.
not. It did not seem to react to the room at all.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I still am fascinated by it, and I kind
Sure.
of look at it and I show it to Posey even if she doesn't ask to see it closer.
I'm gonna see him doing that across the way and be like, "What happens if you like spin it in the air?"
Well, like a magic wand?
Yeah.
Do I hit a fly?
No.
Oh,
Speaking of
you
flies,
do
I'll make your
feel that energy that went into you earlier. You do feel as you kind of hold it, almost like that energy is bolstered.
Ooh.
oh, this makes me feel good.
So it's a
Makes me
magic
feel
wand?
real good.
Did you get the magic
Oh.
wand?
I don't think it's a magic wand. I think it's a fly whisk, and it makes me feel real good. That guy was great. I am really sad that
We killed him.
we didn't kill him. He gave his life force. It was his purpose.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
oh.
whatever he did for us saved my life back there in the tea shop.
See? I'm just saying, let's not take away that man's special. His purpose was to do a thing, and he did it. And I'm not going to take responsibility for that.
Are the professor's eyes still like solid red?
No, they've gone. They quit almost immediately after that happened. Yeah. So the night
Yeah.
goes by. Unless you guys want to do anything specific.
I don't think I have anything specific to do.
Gonna make sure to get some flies for who.
Yeah.
Mhm.
going to possibly read over anything, see if I have magic spells for protection, anything like that we'll need for tomorrow, and make sure that we have the incense burning when we go to sleep.
Fantastic. Really?
Not the incense cones, the other incense.
Oh, man, I was so excited for a half a second. Man, I get to read a whole
He gave
thing.
us two different. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to use the good incense.
The protection incense. We're going to smudge a little.
Okay. So you guys go to sleep. Excellent. I need everyone to give me a listen check.
I can't hear nothing. I am like, I don't know, maybe I'm a snorer.
No, I hear everything.
I got a success.
Listen. I got a regular success.
I think I was sleeping when the fire vampire showed up too.
I rolled a 5, Matt. I hear everything.
Lost Roxy.
We lost Roxel.
She's coming back. Sorry about that.
Second to catch back up.
Doing the camera shuffle.
Slide these back into place. Wait.
I don't know that anybody can see what you're doing. Can she hear me, John?
She can.
I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here.
she's
I
here.
think I did not minimize the screen on the other computer, so I must have accidentally clicked the camera off button.
That's okay. So you guys, as you're sleeping, did anyone succeed on their listen?
Yes,
Yeah.
regular success.
I think everyone except for Roxy did.
Fantastic.
So you could have done this while I was gone.
So what you hear as you're waking up is the sound of a roaring fire.
Oh, great.
I need everyone to roll luck except Roxy.
What about Posey? Did she wake up?
Posey jabs Hardy hard in the side.
Oh, what?
Success on my luck.
Okay. Jimmy?
I made a success.
Okay. So the five of you wake up just as the room starts to heat up. Posey jabbed you pretty hard, Hardy. And all five of you recognize what's about to happen. You've heard this sound before. You felt this heat before. You grab your stuff and run, right?
Would have had everything packed and ready to go.
As you get outside, down like on the street, Colonel Endicott actually comes running from the other hotel with Mrs. Carruthers kind of like out in tuba position. That's not a joke for you guys. That's a joke for me. I'm sorry. As the five of you get out and he comes running across, your translator's there as well. You see a man in a yellow robe point at you. Let's say we'll go random here. Oh no, we won't. Jacob, you were a jerk. What's your POW there, Jacob?
Why was I a jerk?
You did torture him.
I knew we should have killed that guy.
We took his robe.
Yeah, like he doesn't have a backup robe at somebody else's house.
Okay, so my POW's a 60.
POW's a 60. Fantastic. Roll your POW.
Okay.
And I didn't mean your POW. I meant your magic points, but we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. My magic points are 17.
17. Fantastic.
So my POW is a regular success.
Fantastic. I got an extreme, or again, no, I'm sorry. I got a hard success. Can you roll a D4 for me and a D10? They're separate rolls, so just tell me independently what those numbers are.
Okay. All right. So the D4 is a 3.
You'll lose 3 hit points.
The D10 is a 2.
You lose 2 sanity. Everyone else, when you look at him, will lose 1 sanity as well. Jacob, your eyes become very, very, very painful, like they're being stabbed. And then you go blind as you feel something wet pour down your face. And that's going to do it tonight for us for Illuminated Page. We are
Aw.
going to be back in 2 weeks. We'll see how this goes. Nobody died tonight, so that's good. So if you are not gonna come out for Growing Shadows, you're missing out on a great game. John runs a fantastic game. There's an awesome battle wagon that's totally not a battle wagon. It's totally not. It's just a shop. It's not a battle wagon. They're having a good time over there, telling a really good story. John's got some great plans for Growing Shadows. He's got a bigger picture story that he's doing. I think it's great. We got Star Trek going. We're like 4 or 5 weeks in now. Yeah.
And
We're coming up on halfway through the season, or we're coming up halfway through the first half of the season. So definitely come out for that. We're having a lot of fun.
The quarter of the season.
Listen, half of a half is a half. It's a half of a half. It doesn't matter. No, you're right. Quarter.
You're right. You're right. It doesn't. There's a 12-week break between halves. It counts.
Yeah. So come out for that. Definitely Star Trek, I think, is one of our better storytelling shows. Rob is going to be running on Monday. If you haven't been out for Star Trek, you haven't met him yet, but he is fantastic at what he's doing. I think this story
Very much
we're
so.
in the middle of is riveting. I get to play. Roxy's been on. So has Shawn as our resident doctor. So definitely come out for that one. And that's also a show where you can create NPCs and affect the story with character by bringing characters in and letting us interact with them. So that's an option. So definitely come out for that. And then we will be back in 2 weeks on the 10th. Oh, did I guess that right? I don't think I did. Nope. On the 12th. We'll be back in 2 weeks on the 12th for the next episode of Illuminated Page, and where we will find out, does Jacob have eyes anymore? I don't know.
After roll another character.
No, you can still play a blind character. Don't worry.
That would be useful.
We're just going to use pre-gens at this point.
Don't forget,
Yeah, really.
we got Twitter, we got Discord. Definitely want to check those out. The links are right there in the chat. Check out our Facebook, and then go over to YouTube. All of our shows are going to be on YouTube. Roxy's been really good about getting them up like right after we're done, like the next day. So check those out. Those are really good way to watch it. You can also watch our videos on demand here for the 2 weeks after the show. So if you miss Star Trek on Monday, it's right down here. Just go look down there.
Well, and I've been employing that highlight hack, so our shows are on there all the time.
Fantastic. So definitely check that out. And we will be back on Monday with Star Trek. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.
Have a
Night,
good night,
everybody.
y'all.
night, everybody.
Bye.